welcome. It's good to be back, especially with a real top guest in the studio live this evening. Now, a week ago, for the best of reasons and also truly the worst of reasons, our show had to be postponed. So that particular edition with Dick Chester, famous figure in Sheffield football, will now go out here next week. But of course, here and everywhere, here at Sheffield Live TV, across the city, across the nation, we've all been paying respects and paying tributes to Her Majesty the Queen. And as we welcome Chris Basham of Sheffield United, cult hero of Sheffield United, it has been a very poignant time. And of course, you took part in a minute's silence at Swansea during the week. Yeah,
it was great for the lads and obviously myself to pay the respects that she truly deserves. And I think it hit the lads when the picture went up on the screen, and it was nice to pay respects in the right way, and the fans all did very well and kept quiet and paid their respects too, which was great for the football industry and the football world.
Indeed, silences everywhere have been very well observed. We've got lots to talk about, particularly at a great time for Sheffield United. Just before we move on though, I think maybe the respect for a figure like the Queen is even deeper among public figures, for public figures, and you can't get more public position than the Queen occupied.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody quite high profile yourself, you'd perhaps be in a better position to appreciate just the role that she's performed.
Yeah, I think you see now the crowds of people from everywhere around the world have tried to get a glimpse of even just the coffin at the moment, and it's amazing to see, an amazing feel. And yeah, for me personally, you look at the tributes that I've seen on TV now, and the amazing woman that she was to the people, to the working class environment, to anybody really. And that's why I think there's so many flowers being laid, and there's so many queues now, and it's amazing to see. And I'd love to get down to London to pay my respects too.
Yeah, you've got a match coming up on Saturday. It's not that easy, but 7 decades of rule. Imagine being Chris Basham of Sheffield United for 70 years.
Yeah, I know.
I know you're a cult figure, but
hopefully I could keep the legs going for that long. But no, it's truly amazing to have that reign for so long, and for the people to respect her the way that she does.
Mind you, you've done 8 years.
8 years, yeah. I think this is my 9th season now, so it's going great. I'm loving life. Seeing the young talent come through that 9 years ago were probably about 13-year-old and 10, 11, 12-year-olds. So seeing the young boys coming through, it's great, and they're doing ever so well for Sheffield United.
Indeed. Does that make you feel even older?
It does when Billy Sharp's not about, yeah. I feel the oldest in the team at times, but when he's back, it's nice. And yeah, I feel it's weird because it's weird because you feel old and you don't feel old. It's your age is a number, but when I'm out there training and stuff, I feel still young, and I still have the band there, and I still keep a smile on my face. I'm not that moody old person yet, so yeah, long may it continue.
You're 34, if I'm allowed to say that. Let's set the scene. Blades fans, you don't really need this part. There might just be some Sheffield Wednesday supporters watching, so I'll have to say it anyway. Right. Sheffield United, top of the Championship on 20 points, ahead of your game at Preston on Saturday. You're unbeaten in 7. I think that's right. You've won all the last 3, and your manager is the manager of the month. There's not much missing there, is there?
No, it's fantastic. It's what we set. We don't set big targets at the start of the season, but I think a lot of the lads in the dressing room were hoping to do so well after the start we had the season before, and everything's fell into place lovely. The lads are performing at the highest level. We're getting last-minute winners, which I don't think happened to me very much at this football club, so that's great. And yes, we've had lots of injuries and we've got cover here, there and everywhere, but the lads are producing, and it's great. It's fantastic.
Wonderful start. Has it taken anybody by surprise inside Bramall Lane?
I don't know.
That means it has.
I think it has a little bit. Yeah, I think the boys are buzzing. It's great to see, and we're all dead happy. So long may it continue. And I think it's nice to see that we've also got strength and depth in the squad at the moment. I think it's been really tested for the manager. He's having to change players here, there, and everywhere. There's an injury every week for the physio and the staff. So yeah, hopefully we can carry it on. And I mean, if we keep the form that we're doing now, there's no. Hopefully, we can finish in the top 6 for sure.
Yeah, you can measure how formidable the squad is by the number of players that are out, which kind of gets overlooked when you're getting the results that you are, including, as you say, that tremendous moment at Swansea, that late winner. And lest anybody hasn't noticed, it was a tackle from you that launched the move downfield for Rhian Brewster's run, powerful, pacey, and finding Rida Khadra to score.
Yeah.
Tell us about the tackle.
So the tackle was, I kind of over-covered because I thought Ollie had covered me. The ball's got played into the striker. It's gone back the way, and then I've kind of had to go, oh no, he's going to shoot you. So I've kind of ran to try and block the shot. He's turned his, and I think that's the differences there is from the Premier League to the Championship. I managed to get my foot in, a lovely tackle, laid it off to Reece, but in the Premier League you can get punished for things like that.
Right.
We didn't get punished. Reece played the long ball, and Rhian just out this world speed and power, and Rida, who's got that in abundance as well. The two best players that could have been in that position, to be honest, at that time, and they're both producing, and it was amazing to feel in. You've seen the videos. It was
the whole bench.
The whole bench
erupted.
went up. It was special. I've never had that feeling for a long, long time, and I think because it was last minute, it even made it even more special.
Do you think in some ways it was comparable with that famous goal you scored at Leeds?
I've heard a lot of people saying that, yeah. I've heard a lot of people saying that. It's obviously the Billy shot when he nudges Cooper and I'm running from 30, 40 yards, 30, 40, 50 yards away, and it's the finish. I think the finish was a bit more cultured.
You were falling over, weren't you?
I wasn't falling over. I was just falling with style, wasn't it? So, yeah. But, yeah, I think it had all that feel to it, but it was 94th minute and the fans stayed until the end and managed to see something out of this world, yeah. And
when I looked at the video again today, I've watched it 3 or 4 times, and I watched it on my phone, so I squinted at it a bit. A player is over at the bench celebrating with the bench, and I'm thinking that's you. Am I right?
Yeah, that's me. At the time of making the tackle, I felt a cramp come on, and the best way to get rid of it, well, for my body and anyway at the moment, is having a shot of pickle juice.
Pardon?
Yeah.
What's that?
Pickle juice is just, I think it's basically pickled onions, but it's the juice out of it, and it just shocks the nervous system.
Does anybody else believe in that?
Yeah, there's a few of the boys.
Really?
I think if you see the lads having a shot, it's normally pickle juice comes 70 to 90 minutes, and it seems to be working. The nutritionist backs it, so. Yeah, I thought there was longer to go than there actually was, so I went to Egan next to us and went, how long to go, mate? And he's gone 20 seconds, and I just took a shot of pickle juice. Didn't need the heartburn on that night time.
Yeah, because even if you're told 2 minutes, 2 minutes is long enough to
definitely. You need to stay on top of your game.
To come in and to concede. So 20 seconds is.
Yeah, I think when you're in a game, it's the natural thought is to not obviously do anything that's going to dictate your performance. So if it's a shot of pickle juice and to stop a cramp, and obviously making a big tackle when you need to, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's satisfying. It's a tremendous, absolutely tremendous moment. Are we now seeing? I'm going to go on to your role in the team in a minute, and talk about the famous overlapping centre backs. And it strikes me that you're replicating it now because you've got Anel Ahmedhodzic on the other side, and in fact you seem interchangeable. We're going to talk about that, but I'd like to sort of just reflect that you're the longest serving player currently at Sheffield United. Been there 8 years, since July 2014, and you were signed by a manager who I thought did a far better job than some people gave him credit for, and that was Nigel Clough. He did you a huge favour, as it turned out. Signed you from Blackpool.
Yeah, signed us from Blackpool for free. Gave me agent a call and said I want to bring him in. He had seen when he was at Derby as a manager. He had seen us playing. He knew I had energy, endurance, and he knew I had quality as well. And when I got that call, I was taken back a little bit because it was Sheffield United. I knew the fans and the club that I was, and I fully enjoyed playing under Nigel Clough. We got to a playoff semis on the old famous 5-5, and then we got to a semi-final of the League Cup at the time. I think
it was the League Cup, not the FA
League Cup, so we got beat off Tottenham. But they were fantastic nights.
That was Shay Evans scoring a couple of goals.
Shay scored a couple, and then little Lewis Reed had the big chance at the end. I don't want to remind him of that if he's watching, but yeah, we missed that chance. But I fully enjoyed it. He still keeps in contact now. Whenever I do anything well, personally or as a club, he's very good like that, and he stays in contact. And wherever he has that I've had a part of my family, something like that. Obviously, I've got 3 children now, so he's been in contact every time I've had a child. He's very great, and I can't obviously appreciate him ringing us with the man that he is.
Now, he signed you, correct me if I'm wrong, as a midfield player, did he not?
Yeah, signed as a midfielder. I actually I enjoyed it when he signed us, and I played midfield. At times, I'm probably still a bit young, still a bit weary on the ball at times, and probably didn't have the confidence coming from Blackpool. At the time at Blackpool, it was very defensive. It was very hard workmanship and staying in formations, and then obviously I've strived on and I've become a good ball player, running with the ball and things like that. I wouldn't say a De Bruyne type ball player, but I have become
look, I really
enjoyed it.
You need to update your Wikipedia page, which I had a quick look
I've heard
at
of
today.
that, yeah.
It's not very comprehensive.
No.
You're listed on there as a defensive midfielder or centre-back.
Yeah.
I think we could add a few descriptions to that.
I think I could do with some Blades fans updating that. And I think appearances on there aren't too correct as well. I think I'm about 355, 360 for Sheffield now.
Could you imagine being this rampaging, marauding right and, if the need be, left side centre-back that you've become?
No, I think obviously Chris Wilder done great things for this football club, and him and Alan Neil pulled us one day and just says, look, we're going to change the formation, we're going to play 3. We think you've got the energy, the drive on the ball to play this. Do you fancy it? And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go, and it's not looked really back since then. And whoever manager's been in since then too, well, it's only been Hecky, Slav, and whoever. It's a 3-5-2 formation. I've always played there, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's probably been the best I could ever wished for playing wise for the football club.
And do you feel it's being, there was an interval in between, there was a dislocation in between, but now do you feel that successful blueprint or dynamic has been recreated? Yeah,
it's been recreated, and it's also been recreated with strength and depth as well. And you've seen the lads that have come in, and everyone's driving each other. There's competition for places, which is great to have at a football club, especially of this stature. So yeah, it's been recreated, and it's been developed even more so with the youth and the drive that we've got now. And the lads that are on the bench, not even in the squad, they're so good and they're so powerful, especially in the Championship.
Now, when you saw, and of course you had to battle back from injury at the start of the season, when you saw Anel Ahmedhodzic, and I've been practicing that a lot, and I think I've just
I'm
about
glad you
got
can pronounce it, because I just call him Anel.
Anel, right. What do you call it? He's got a nickname, just tell us.
No, just Anel.
Just Anel,
yeah.
Right, that'll do.
At the moment.
When you saw Anel signed, a relatively costly signing for Sheffield United, though when you look at it now, I don't know what the figure was, 3-4 million or something, which is ridiculously low for the kind of player he is. When you saw him signed and slot into that Basham berth, right side centre-back, you perhaps knew you got a fight on it, because Kieran Clark had come in and he was playing on the left side of defence.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was watching from the stands the first few games, and I was saying to my dad and my wife, I was saying, this is going to be the hardest I've ever had it here, but also the greatest as well, because we're both going to push each other on, but also we're good teammates as well. I mean, we both speak to each other. I'm the older one by a long way, so I've got to help him as much as I can, because we want to have success at the football club. He's not joined for that fee, and he's not joined this club not to be playing at the highest level, and I think he's international. He's got a chance of, we're top of the league, a chance of getting promoted to the Premier League, and long may it continue with him and me, because it's great, and obviously there's going to be hiccups along the way for both of us, and we're there for each other, and we're going to keep pushing each other, and it's great to have.
I noticed him calling 1 or 2 teammates out, even on his debut.
Yeah, he's not afraid to voice his opinion, and he's backed it up. He's played ever so well, so he deserves to do that. I think it's the right thing to do. We're all fighting for each other. We're all happy to tell each other when they're not doing things right, and I think that's the closeness that we've got, and it goes with the goal the other day. Everything part of that goal was what we do in training, but in a smaller scale. Me doing a tackle 1v1 with Illiman and Dye, Reece playing the forward ball, Illiman, Ree and Brewster sprinting speed, and obviously Reed are going up to support him and scoring.
That explosive pace from midfield and creativity is what you didn't have.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say. And how much of a difference has the signings of, for instance, James McAtee, who's trying to get in, Rida Kadra, and obviously
exactly what we just talked about. I think with me and Anel, there's also competition everywhere else, and it's great to have. And the fans must be rubbing their hands together to see what we've got on show.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about Iliman and Jai yet, and we will do in in part 2, because there's only so much we can get through in part 1. But just going back to that overlapping centre-back thing, I think I wrote in my column, it's a pity that Anel is right-sided and not left-sided, because if he was left-sided, Basham could be on the right, he could be on the left, and you could recreate it. Yeah. But I think Paul Heckingbottom knew what I didn't, and maybe one or two other people, is that Anel can virtually play anywhere across that back line.
I think what it is with, like, it's been with me, it's been a burden for me, but it's been in a good way. It's been a utility player, and I think Anel's fantastic in doing that. He swapped me and Anel during the game at half time the other day. I went left side, he went right side, and I think that it gave them a bit of a thinking process as well. But yeah, he's been fantastic, and obviously Zander scoring goals is a midfield for us. I think Mark Duffy was the last highest goal scorer in midfield, and obviously Flecky scored a few in his time, but having goals from midfields, it's a massive thing, and the gaffer puts pressure on the defence, the midfielders and the strikers to all be chipping in, and not just Billy Sharp and Iliman and obviously McBurney now, which is great.
Billy Sharp's going to have to battle to get back in that team at the moment, which is great, isn't it? It's the healthiest thing you could imagine.
I think we all know that. I think anybody coming from the outside, if you've been injured, know that you're going to have to battle to get back in. I mean, the team's performing at its highest. We're top of the league. We're all there for each other. We're all backing each other, and we're all supporting each other as well. So it's a great mix and blend to have.
Tell us just a bit more about that switch at half-time the other night. Was it purely just to give them something different, Swansea something different to face, or was there more to it?
I think the manager at half-time just says, I'm going to swap you and Anel over. I want him to drive on a little bit more, and I want you to drive from the left side. You help Reece out, because Reece has been fantastic as well, so there's another one. But he just basically said, we're doing a switch, and no problem at all, fair enough. And it became, it probably even helped us even more so, I would have thought, as well. So I think when you've got partnerships and blends and moulds, it helps out a lot. Yeah,
Reece Norrington-Davis, one of the most unsung players, undeservedly unsung players in the team. He's played left side centre-back, left side midfield, and he just seems to be getting progressively better.
Confident, I think, is the word. I think he's been at Luton, done outstanding. He's been at Stoke, done outstanding. I think when the team's been so settled at Sheffield United, you don't see him of what he is, and I think the fans are seeing what he is now, and his confidence has grown week by week, game by game, and you're seeing the Wales international that he is, and hopefully he'll be pushing for the World Cup and a place in the World Cup. The way he's playing, he deserves that.
Well, just finally, before we leave the overlapping centre-backs, we're going to become fixated on that. This guy, Anel, at 23 years old, he's an absolute eye-opener for everybody who's seen him. Was it evident to you on the first day in training that he was something very special?
Me and him we trained in Portugal the first time he signed, and we had a little chat together, and I just said, just keep going. Every time you get a chance, go forward, just go. I said, that's what the fans want to see, that's what we want to see. And he's took it on even more so than what I thought he was going to. He's powerful, he's fast, and he's settled in really well, and he's been fantastic, and he puts quality in, he drives at people, and yeah, he's been fantastic, and he's done brilliantly.
He can score goals too.
He can score goals, something that I haven't done for about 3 years.
Ah, so. Right, that's on your list, yeah.
But no, obviously the manager puts pressure on us to score goals, and he's been in the right place, right time, he's scoring some great goals, and it's great for the boys, for the defenders especially, to see that, we're still scoring as well, not just Zander and midfielders and strikers.
Paul Heckingbottom, some managers come in and want to put their stamp on it straight away and change things. It struck me he did it almost exactly the opposite, and said, well, what worked before still works. I'm not going to be arrogant and vain enough to basically change that.
No,
do you see that?
I think his record speaks for itself over the long haul so far of his reign. I think when he took over the Premier League, when the old gaffer left Chris Wilder, I think he basically knew that just try and calm things down, try and get some wins, try and get some confidence back in the boys. And then we had Slav as manager, who changed things, like what you said, stamped his authority down, changed a few things, and then the gaffer's come in now, Paul Heckenbottom, and he's gone back to what we know with the freshness, the meetings that he does, the general, the person that he is. He puts his arm around you if he needs to, he tells you if he needs to. It's great, and that's why I think the lads are doing so well and took to him so well, and really enjoying what Stu McCall's brought and Jack Lester, what they've brought to the table as well. Jack's fantastic with the strikers, as well as bringing in the centre halves and wingers, or wing backs, sorry. And Stu's just great with the midfielders. He tells them, he's played 1,000 games of football, so he knows exactly how to play a football match.
At a very high level too.
Exactly.
Everton, he scored in an FA Cup final as well
Yep.
for Everton, and I saw him at Bradford City early in his career. He was a fantastic midfield player. Jack, as we come towards the end of part one, we've got 3 minutes left. Jack O'Connell, you know, a really distressing story, because you had great times with him. He was the other half of the overlapping centre-back pair. Has not played now for 2 years, since late September 2020. You must feel for him, what he's going through as he battles to get.
Yeah, I see Jack every day. He's still got a smile on his face. He's still working. Everyone knows Jack O'Connell by how hard he worked in the gym, outside of training. He's still doing that now. He's desperate to get his boots back on and get back out there. Things just take time. Things take longer than what they should sometimes. Things take quicker than what they should. So, like the manager says, we're going to give him time as much as we can. He's still got 7-8 months of his contract left here, maybe. I think he'll keep pushing as much as he can. He's desperate to get out there with the lads, and we love him. We love him around the place. We know how good of a footballer he is. I think if you looked at him now, you would be probably, if he didn't have the injury that he had, he would be right up there at the elite levels, probably playing international football. So
I think he was.
It's hit him just as much as his injury has as well.
Was he called into an England squad, or was in the fringe of it
Probably,
around the time when he
when we're playing Premier League, he would have been very close, I would have thought. Left-footed, outstanding physique, and he's still
tank
basically.
side.
I think the lads call him Pancake. He just knocks everybody out of the way.
But it's remarkable, really, because you can't. You look at it and you think you can't replace a player like of Jack's type in the role that he was playing. There's no manual that says sign an overlapping centre back. Here's the list of them. So you almost have to create one, like you were turned into one, like he was turned into one, and now. It's great credit to the recruitment team that they found one in Anel. It's perfect for
exactly that. I think
United.
Anel, when I spoke to Anel when he first signed, it was more about he watched videos on us. He asked me what he watched us how we played. He knew that he needed to attack. Then he was asking me. I said, "Well, I used to be a midfielder." He went, "Oh, so that's why you can drive with the ball, and that's why." And I think if you look at teams all across the divisions now, as everyone plays, a lot of people play a 3-5-2 formation, and I think wing backs and centre halves have had to change the dynamics of the physique. That's not just a head it and kick it; it's a be good on the ball and drive with the ball. And I think that's how teams look at players now.
Field short passes from the goalkeeper and playing triangles across the penalty area,
and hit your own defender and hopefully they don't score.
Do things that would have, drawn some very blunt comments from the old-fashioned centre-backs of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. But everybody seems to do it.
Exactly.
Most of the time they get away with it, not every time.
Yeah.
No.
We were close the other night of not getting away with it, but...
Oh, you did. You did. Well, we won't get away with it if I don't say, we'll see you again in 4 minutes, part 2 with Chris Basham. See you then.